Hello everyone and welcome to my 11th Pokemon Challenge run. We've finally crossed the 10 challenge milestone. I'm super happy to see how well all of the challenges are doing, and I'm even happier seeing how much we've been growing the channel lately. I think we might be able to hit 300 subs with this upload, and I could not be happier. Oh, and one last thing before I forget. I'd like you guys to know that I'm really trying hard to create quality content for you all on a weekly basis, so if you have any ideas or like seeing my content, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe so that you can keep up with all of my future videos. Anyways, enough celebrating and self-promoting, we're here for a challenge. Today we seek to answer, can you beat Pokemon Emerald with only a Torchic? Let's cover the rules so we can begin. Rule number 1, no glitches, hacks, or cheats. I do, however, use speed up, otherwise these videos would take far longer to produce and I'd rather produce them quickly. Rule number 2, I can only use one Pokemon in battle. However, because I am not cheating, I do need to use HM Pokemon for travel purposes only. And lastly, rule number 3, no items in battle. This doesn't include held items as I use Everstones during some runs, and so other held items are also allowed if necessary. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. Like we did in the last challenge with Piplup, I'm doing something a bit different during this run with Torchic. Torchic is a special attacker, which is great since most of the good level up moves it can learn are fire-type special attacks, but sadly we're going to need more variety to get through this challenge. My solution is to even out Torchic's special attack, and speed as best as I can so that we'll be somewhat well-rounded. To do this though, I decided to pick a Lonely Nature Torchic. Lonely will increase our attack stat while decreasing our already abysmal defense stat. I figured that since we're already going to be one-shot by any super effective physical attacks, we might as well take what we can from an already useless stat. After getting our Lonely Nature Torchic, we then head over to battle Brendan in our first rival fight. Normally I do grinding first, but I didn't want to find a shiny without having access to Pokeballs. Mudkip is pretty easy to handle, we just trade Scratch and Tackle until we win. From here, we finally get into grinding. Now, even the grinding is a bit complex during this run. As I said earlier, we're trying to round out our special attack, and speed stats. In order to do this, we knock out 168 Poochyena and collectively 168 Zigzagoon and Wingull. Poochyena gives us attack EVs, while Zigzagoon and Wingull both give us speed EVs. But what can we do about special attack EVs? Well, we could stay on Route 102 to grind for the 4% Ralts encounters, or we could fight as minimally as possible until we get to Route 116, where we can grind for Abra, which is a 10% encounter. We opt for the latter and knock out 168 Abra, finally getting our EVs cemented for the rest of the run. Finally, we're ready to fight Roxanne. We don't really have any good moves for this battle, but we do manage to one-shot both of her Geodude with Ember. Roxanne's last Pokemon is her Nose Pass, which tanks our Ember pretty easily while hitting us with Rock Tomb to lower our speed. We trade Ember and Rock Tomb again, causing Nose Pass to eat its berry to regain some health. We then land another Ember while it misses Rock Tomb, but on the following turn, Roxanne heals it up with a potion. We then land another Ember, but Roxanne uses yet another potion. However, our very next Ember gets a crit and burns Nose Pass, meaning that we're able to easily take it down on the following turn. After earning our first badge, we've got our second rival battle with Brendan. Brendan somehow captured a Slugma on these early routes, which he leads with. We use Peck and one-shot the poor thing. Brendan's last Pokemon is his Mudkip, which tanks our Peck and then uses Bide, but a quick attack on the following turn takes it down. We ride a boat to Dewford and challenge Brawly to a battle. He leads with Machop, which we one-shot with Peck. Following Machop is Meditite, which is also another easy one-shot with Peck. Brawly's last Pokemon is his Makuhita, which is also taken care of easily thanks to Peck. Riding the boat again, we land in Slateport and then head north to Mauville, but we're stopped by Brendan again. He leads with Lombre, which we one-shot with Peck. Next up is Slugma, which we slash for the one-shot. Marshtomp follows the Slugma, which we slash for more than half health while it hits us with Mudshot. On the following turn, we slash again and take it down. We get to Mauville, where we have a very short battle with Wally for the first time. We one-shot his Ralts with Peck to send Wally on his way. Watson is our next opponent, who usually gives us a bit of a hard time. Watson leads with Voltorb, which we one-shot with Ember. Following Voltorb is Electrike, which we once again Ember for the one-shot. After Electrike is Magneton, which we crit with Ember to knock it out. Last up is Manectric, which tanks our Ember for about half health and hits us with Thunder Wave before eating its berry. Manectric then hits us with Shockwave and we're paralyzed, so it hits us with another on the following turn, even getting a crit. This time though, we're not paralyzed and take it down with another Ember. We then head up Mount Chimney and battle Magma Admin Tabitha, who doesn't realize he's about to be treated like a side character in a slasher film. Tabitha leads with his first Numal, which we slash for the one-shot. Tabitha then sends out his second Numal, which we again one-shot with slash. Poochyena is sent out next, which also falls to our slash. And last up is Zubat, which once again falls to slash. After we make Tabitha experience true fear, we challenge Magma Boss Maxie. Maxie's team is a lot like Tabitha's, so this fight is generally the same as the former, but with one teeny tiny difference. Maxie leads with his Mightyena, which lowers our attack with Intimidate. We hit it with a Flamethrower to knock it out. Next up is Camerupt, which we hit with another Flamethrower for a bit more than half health. Camerupt hits us with a Magnitude 6 before Maxie's Super Potions, then we follow that up with 2 Flamethrowers to take it down. Maxie's last Pokemon is his Zubat, which we once again Flamethrower for the one-shot. Flannery is the next gym leader we're able to challenge, so we head down the mountain. Flannery leads with her Numal, who we hit with Flamethrower for the one-shot. Flannery then sends out her Slugma, which we slash into weird lava bits. Camerupt is up next, which we Flamethrower for about half health while it tackles us. On the following turn, we Flamethrower again, knocking it out. Torkoal is Flannery's last Pokemon, which we use Dig against to dodge the Attract. We hit for about half health, but then we get hit by the Attract. On the following turn, we're immobilized while it uses Sunny Day. We then manage to use Dig again to avoid a Body Slam, but we fail to land the Dig on the next turn, resulting in getting hit with a Body Slam. This turn, we try to use Flamethrower and fail, getting hit by another Body Slam. We try again for Flamethrower and finally succeed, getting a crit for good measure. Norman awaits us in Petalburg, so we head over there for our next fight. He leads with Spinda, who we Flamethrower for the one-shot. Following Spinda is Vigoroth, who is yet another one-shot thanks to Flamethrower. Up next is Linoon, which is again another one-shot thanks to Flamethrower. Norman's last Pokemon is his Slacking, which we use Dig against to take advantage of its Truant ability. We use Dig again on the following turn to avoid another attack, this time bringing it down to roughly half health. Then we follow up with a crit Flamethrower to knock out Slacking and beat Norman. Our next stop is the Weather Institute, where we've got to take care of Shelly. Shelly leads with Carvanha, which we one-shot with Flamethrower. Following Carvanha is Mightyena, Shelly's last Pokemon. We again use Flamethrower, taking it out instantly. With the Weather Institute freed from Team Aqua's takeover, we've got another rival battle with Brendan. He leads with Lombre, which fakes us out before we hit it with Peck, just barely failing to one-shot. On the following turn, we finish it off with another Peck. Following Lombre is Slugma, which we take out easily with a Slash. Brendan's last Pokemon is his Marshtomp, which we slash for a bit more than half health, while it does huge damage to us with Mudshot. On the following turn, we take it out with another Slash. I figured that we could take on Winona at this time rather than ignoring her like we had to do with the Trico run. Winona leads with Swablu, which we knock out immediately with a Flamethrower. Following Swablu is Pelipper, who protects itself to stall for time, but not for long. Winona then sends out her Altaria, who we hit with a crit slash, which surprisingly fails to knock out while it uses Dragon Dance and eats a berry. On the following turn, it outspeeds us and hits with Earthquake, doing insane damage, but fortunately we're able to knock it out. Up next is Skarmory, who we outspeed with Flamethrower for the one-shot. Winona's last Pokemon is her Trampius, which we're able to also one-shot thanks to Flamethrower. Since we were able to take down Winona, we then head over to Brendan and challenge him to a battle. He leads with his Trampius, which puts up as much fight as Winona's did and feints to a single Flamethrower crit. Following Trampius is Slugma, who we're able to knock out with a crit slash. After Slugma is Marshtomp, who we hit with another crit slash, taking it down. Last up is Ludicolo, who we're able to one-shot with Aerial Ace, meaning we've beaten Brendan for the last time. Taking a short detour, we track down Team Magma and begin our second battle against Tabitha. Tabitha leads with his Numel, which a single slash takes care of. Up next is Camerupt, which we decide to risk using Dig against, avoiding a takedown. Dig hits on the second turn for a one-shot. Tabitha then sends out his Mightyena, lowering our attack, but we don't need that stat anyways and one-shot it with Flamethrower. Tabitha's last Pokemon is his Zubat, which Aerial Ace knocks out instantly. With Tabitha beaten again, we challenge Maxie to our second battle against him. He leads with his Mightyena, meaning we use Flamethrower against it for the one-shot. Camera follows Mightyena, and fortunately for us, we get a crit slash to take it down. Crobat is Maxie's last Pokemon, who outspeeds us with Wing Attack for half health before we almost one-shot it with Flamethrower. On the following turn, Maxie heals, but we finish it off with another Flamethrower. We then head over to Slateport and witness Archie stealing a submarine. Nothing else really happened, I just felt like including this because Archie antics are just that important. Flying back to Lily Cove, we end up having a battle with Matt in Team Aqua's hideout. He leads with his Mightyena, but that doesn't phase us, so we one-shot him with Flamethrower. Matt's last Pokemon is his Golbat, which we also one-shot with Flamethrower. GG easy. Okay, so, Tate and Liza are a bit irritating since they are the only double battle gym leaders in the franchise. To my knowledge, they won't battle you if you have only one Pokemon. It was mentioned to me that I should bring a Magikarp with Splash, which I will certainly do in future runs, but sadly I hadn't thought of that during this attempt. Anyways, our first target in this battle is Claydol, since it will use Earthquake if we don't one-shot it with Flamethrower. Lunatone follows the Claydol, which is our next focus. Xatu really isn't a huge threat for this battle. I'm more concerned about the ground and rock-type Pokemon that Tate and Liza have. Fortunately, we're able to take down the Lunatone with 2 Flamethrowers without losing any health. After Lunatone, Solrock is sent out, but Xatu one-shots my Tropius, so we have to send out Wailmer. We then use Flamethrower against Solrock and one-shot it, but Xatu knocks out my Wailmer. With it being down to just Xatu and Torchic, we use Slash to bypass the special defense increases Xatu got from Calm Mind, and we get a crit, taking it down. Boss Deep should instead be named Forced Double Battle Island, since our very next battle is yet another double battle against Tabitha and Maxie. They lead off with Camerupt and Mightyena, which is a bit of a problem because Camerupt can one-shot us and Mightyena can confuse us, so we one-shot ourselves. We choose to one-shot the Mightyena with Flamethrower, while Camerupt uses Focus Energy. Maxie sends out his Camerupt next, which we hit with Flamethrower for more than half health, while Matang thankfully finishes off Tabitha's Camerupt. Tabitha sends out his Golbat, which we one-shot with Flamethrower before it can confuse us, bringing out Tabitha's Mightyena. Camerupt then uses Earthquake and almost takes us down, but on the following turn we Flamethrower Maxie's Camerupt to take it out while Matang uses Metal Claw on Tabitha's Mightyena to finish it off. On the following turn we Flamethrower Maxie's Crobat and finally take down Team Magma for the last time. Since we convinced Maxie to stop being stupid, now we just need to convince Archie. We track down the submarine to the bottom of the ocean, but Shelly stops us. She leads with Sharpedo, who we one-shot with a Flamethrower crit. Mightyena is up next, who we take down easily with another Flamethrower. Archie manifests behind us somehow and challenges us to a battle. He leads with his Mightyena, who we one-shot with Flamethrower. His next Pokemon is Crobat, who we also one-shot with Flamethrower. Archie's final Pokemon is his Sharpedo, who is yet another easy one-shot thanks to Flamethrower. Archie, being a sore loser, awakens Kyogre anyways, resulting in a very, very bad situation in Sootopolis City. Unfortunately, the worst-case scenario has happened, needing to talk to Wallace. We then head out to Spear Pillar and witness Rayquaza waking up without needing to do anything ourselves, meaning this whole journey was pointless. Rayquaza flies off and tells the kids to stop fighting, and the whole catastrophe ends. Yay. Our last gym battle is one of the very few fights in the game that I've been worried about. Juan leads with Love Disc, who we're able to knock out instantly with Slash. He then sends out Celio, which we take down in 2 slashes after tanking a Water Pulse. Next up is Wishcash, who we hit with 2 slashes to take it out while it uses Amnesia. Juan then sends out Crawdon, which taunts us after our slash, meaning we use Flamethrower on the following turn to take it down. Kingdra is Juan's last Pokemon, which we slash while it uses Double Team. We slash again and just barely miss the knockout, but then it Resto Chestos for full health. We slash again and it uses Double Team again. Following turn, another slash and another rest. We then slash again, but we miss the turn after. We get it all the way down a second time, only for it to wake up and rest again. We then miss a slash, hit a slash, miss a slash, and then it rests again. I'm losing my mind. We land another 2 slashes, and then Juan Hyper Potions. I'm seriously at my limit. We slash again, but then it uses Double Team. At this point, we're out of slashes, so we start to go for Flamethrowers, but then it rests again. I then remember that I've had access to Aerial Ace this entire time, which I literally cannot miss, so I hit 2 Aerial Aces, Juan heals, then I hit 3 more Aerial Aces after tanking a Water Pulse and getting confused. Finally, we've won the fight after a massive stress test on my mental stability. We begin trekking through Victory Road, but Wally stops us for a rematch. He leads with an Altaria, which we flamethrower for about half health while it uses Dragon Dance. On the following turn, it outspeeds us with Aerial Ace, but we tank it and take it down with another flamethrower. Not wanting to have to repeat the Delcatty shenanigans from the Trico challenge, I avoid physical moves and one-shot Delcatty with Flamethrower. Magneton follows the Delcatty, who we also one-shot with Flamethrower. Roselia is sent out next, who is yet another one-shot with Flamethrower. Wally's last Pokemon is his Gardevoir, which also cannot stand against our Flamethrower. I was admittedly absolutely terrified of the Elite Four and did all of the grinding that I could to make sure that we were as prepared as possible. We begin our challenge with Sydney, who leads with his Mightyena. Since our attack is lowered, the best course of action is to use Flamethrower, which we one-shot the Mightyena with. Absol follows the Mightyena, who we also one-shot with Flamethrower. Following Absol is Crawdaunt, who we hit with Slash for about half health while we tank a Surf. We slash again and Crawdaunt faints. Shiftry is up next, who we take down with a single Aerial Ace. Cacturne is Sydney's last Pokemon, who we take down with another Aerial Ace. Phoebe was a huge issue in our Trico run, but this time I'm much more prepared for her. Phoebe leads with her first Dusclops, which protects against our first Flamethrower, but our second hits for the one-shot. She then sends out her second Dusclops, which we also take out with a single Flamethrower. Following the Dusclops is Phoebe's first Bayonet, who we hit with Aerial Ace and almost managed to one-shot, but sadly Bayonet hits us with a Shadow Ball and Phoebe heals on the following turn. Two more Aerial Aces take out the Bayonet with ease. Sableye is up next, who we use Dig against for massive damage while it uses Double Team twice. Phoebe full restores, but we answer with two Aerial Aces and knock it out. Phoebe's last Pokemon is her second Bayonet, which we trade Aerial Ace and Shadow Ball with. On the following turn, one more Aerial Ace takes it down. Glacia is the third of the Elite Four who shouldn't pose much of a threat. She leads with her first Celio, who we hit with Flamethrower while it sets up Hail. On the following turn, Glacia heals while we use Slash, doing just a bit more damage than before. We use another Slash and Celio falls. Walrein is up next, and we decide to try for a crit Slash, which we don't get. Walrein hits us with Surf, doing a good chunk of damage. On the following turn, we get our crit Slash, making Walrein faint. Glacia's first Glalie is up next, who we one-shot with Flamethrower. After Glalie is Glacia's second Celio, who we use Slash against for a massive chunk of damage while it sets up Hail. On the following turn, we take it down with a crit Slash. Glacia's last Pokemon is her second Glalie, which we one-shot with Flamethrower. Drake is the last of the Elite Four, which I was a tad bit worried about due to his Flygon. Drake leads with Shelgon, who protects against two of our Flamethrowers, but on the third turn, we finally one-shot it. Up next is Drake's Flygon, who we thankfully outspeed with a crit Slash for the one-shot. Following Flygon is Solomons, who lowers our attack with Intimidate, so we decide to use Flamethrower, which we get a crit with for the one-shot. Kingdra is up next to use Dragon Dance after we Slash, but on the following turn we still outspeed and land another Slash to take it down. Drake's last Pokemon is his Altaria, who we Flamethrower for half health while it uses Dragon Dance. We then use another Flamethrower and take down Drake. Well, here we are. The worst possible scenario. But all is not lost, dear viewer. I have planned for this. My answer to Wallace is quite simply this. Critical hits. You'll see. Wallace leads with his Wailord, which we're able to outspeed with Slash for a one-shot crit. Up next is Ludicolo, who we one-shot with Aerial Ace. Tentacruel follows Ludicolo, who we use Slash against, but fail to crit. However, it misses Toxic, and on the following turn, Wallace has to heal, so we take it down with two Slashes. Wishgas follows the Tentacruel, who we hit with two Slashes while it uses Amnesia. Following the Wishgas is Wallace's Gyarados, who lowers our attack with Intimidate, meaning that we can't rely on Slash anymore. I risk it all on Flamethrower and actually manage a crit with that too, one-shotting the Gyarados. Wallace's last Pokemon is his Milotic, which we Slash for minimal damage while it hits us with Surf. On the following turn though, we land another crit Slash, finally beating Wallace. I have to say, I thought this run would be completely walled by Wallace here at the end. I am so happy that I decided to hold on to Slash, as I figured that having a high critical hit ratio on a decently powerful move would be very good if we needed to rely on crits. I'm also super happy that the EV training and the nature idea that I had at the start of the run worked so well. I really couldn't be more pleased with how this run went. The final time for this run was 48 hours and 31 minutes, which is roughly 7 hours longer than the Trico run. I'm just glad it was possible for our little chicken nugget to beat the game all by itself. Anyways, I stream this run over on Twitch, which I plan on doing weekly. Also, if you liked this video, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe, as it would help me out a lot. If you'd like, feel free to leave a comment to let me know how you guys feel about the video, since I love seeing what you think about my content. If you're interested in coming and hanging out, feel free to follow the link below to either my Twitch or my Discord. Or my Twitter if that is still around by the time you guys see this video. This has been Shro, and thank you for watching.